The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that time, Jesus exclaimed, I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for hiding these things from the wise and the learned and revealing them to mere children. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. Sisters and brothers, the Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
We are all sailing through the sea of life, and sometimes storms may kick up, and the boat of our life may be tossed about in the ocean. My dear sisters and brothers, stress and tension seem to be the new norm, and we seem to be pressed in from every side today. As I stand here addressing you, connecting with you, I'm not unaware of so many who have so many challenges come their way. There are people who are anxious about their health. There are others who are worried over the health of their loved ones. People's jobs have been reversed, and there are people who are anxious as to how they could pay the bills. Problems are real. There are also people in our midst who have lost their loved ones. There are people who are working on their marriages, their family life. And there are problems of every kind that you and I today face. And all this makes us grow tired and weary. And it is to us that Christ says today, come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Now, note this. As we sail through the ocean of life, God does not promise a smooth sail, but He does guarantee and assure us a safe arrival, if only you and I learn to lean on Him. Chaos in your life does not mean that God does not care. Chaos does not imply that there is something wrong with you. You don't even need to think that if you play by the rules and do all that God expects of you, there will be no troubles or tribulations coming your way. Chaos and confusion, pain and perils, they are part of life. In fact, they are a sign that a growth is happening in us. But in and through all this, the Lord comes to us and says, Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Notice that he talks to us directly. He says, come, lean on me. Come, gather in me. Come, trust in me. And then comes the promise, and I will give you rest. Lucy and Linus were near the base of a hill, and Lucy had her face towards the hill. And eventually she turned to Linus and said, someday I'm going to go to the other side of the hill to find the answers to my questions. Someday I will go to the other side of the hill to find hope and fulfillment. Something in me tells me that the answers to my dreams lies on the other side of the hill beyond those grassy lands. And Linus, taking his finger off his lips, would say, something in me tells me that there is a kid like you and me standing on the other side, thinking that all the answers to his problems lies on this side of the hill. My dear sisters and brothers, the grass on the other side always seems greener. But this I know, that when we are with the Lord, he leads us to the pastures and to the cool waters, and he gives us repose. And because he is our good shepherd today, he tells us, come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Remember, this is the same Christ who would undergo persecution, who would undergo scourging, who would undergo having to carry the cross and crucifixion, and he would eventually die. And yet, he says, be yoked to me as I am yoked to my Father, and you will find rest. And so, this rest that Jesus promises us, his yoke being easy and his burden being light, does not necessarily mean that we will not have challenges, that we will not have problems, that obstacles will not come our way. All he says is, when you gather in me, when you trust me, when you lean on to me, you will find rest. Come, be yoked to me, and be in step with me. Walk through your life, and me by your side, and you will find rest for your souls. And so today, as we look around and find that pandemic kills people in so many ways, let's lean on to the Lord. Let's trust the Lord. Let's come to the Lord. For it is he that tells us, come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. And as we celebrate the Independence Day, let us as a nation be yoked to Christ. Let us follow our Christian values and principles, the values of God's kingdom, love and charity and fellowship, and we will find rest for ourselves. The rest that Christ gives us does not come without being yoked to him. And so, let us commit ourselves. Let's bind ourselves to him and to one another and walk the way that he has walked, and with him by our side, and we will find rest for ourselves. Listen to what he says. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. He is one who does what he says and says what he does. I choose to lean on to the Lord, to trust in him, and to gather in him. How about you?